Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to take a look at the privacy berm here at the house, and we're going to do a little looking back and we're going to do a little looking forward, talking about the plans that we have for this space this fall, because it's going to go under another kind of big renovation this fall. So we're going to kind of clue you in as to what we're going to be doing while taking a look back over the last 3 years of this space. So to kind of give you a reference of where we are, we have this berm is probably about 100 feet long that goes from our driveway and then pretty much goes all the way down, cuts the property, and there is just a little bit of a pass through down here. Essentially what it does is it gives us privacy from our home, which is to the left, from the nursery, which is, as you can see, is to the right, down there. And we encourage folks as they come visit us to come and check out the nursery side of the berm. We just ask that folks don't come across and visit the house side. So that is why we do these videos, so that you can see the house side. We installed and began the construction process of this berm 3 years ago. It was October of 2022, and oh my goodness, it has changed radically. Before this berm was here, it was just straight grass. So this was a field. When we built our house 21 years ago, we built in the middle of a field. My daddy used to farm this, and so it was, quote, cleared. There was no trees. And then as we moved in, built our house, moved in, we turned this field into grass and kept it that way for quite a long time, until 3 years ago. So what we're going to be doing today is talking about this big blank spot that is right here, really in the middle of the berm that faces the house. This, when we designed the berm on the nursery side, let's take a little look-see over there right quick, because I want to show you, to give you kind of a reference on what things are. And you're going to see messes and you're going to see successes over here. Messes, yes, y'all. Time to prune the perennials. They are looking a little rough right now. And so on the nursery side of the berm, this is all filled with shrubs and perennials. We do not have any annuals on this side. So as we go through, we'll talk about this, but we have got all sorts of trees and shrubs, and of course the gorgeous holy grail summerific hibiscus. This is of course that perennial hibiscus that is just absolutely stunning. We have it on both sides. So we really try to keep on the nursery side it filled with, like I said, the perennials and annuals. Has been here for 3 years now. All the trees we put in that like November of 2022, and then over the next 6 months we added the shrubs and the perennials. So that kind of gives you an idea on this side, and it has grown magnificently well, right? It is full, it is gorgeous. In fact, some of those plants are getting a little too happy, and so I'm going to have to thin some things out, move out some perennials over the next, I don't know, either this fall and or going into the spring, depending on what the plant is. If you can see, Brenna has her giant stick, and I'm really just trying not to get my knees taken out with this thing. So on the house side, when we designed it, what we wanted to do was on the corners to go ahead and again kind of use that method of the perennials and the shrubs. And then we have the holy grails, of course, here in the middle, and then down there on the end we have more shrubs and perennials down there. The inside was always the plan, was just to have tons of beautiful annuals in there. And so we did that for the first 2 years, and it was stunning. Like, it was gorgeous. We did a lot of petunias the first year. Then last year we did lantanas and salvias and those kinds of things. And again, beautiful. But as you know, right, annuals are in a way more high maintenance, because one, you have to plant them every spring and then you have to take them out every fall. And as we go through life and as the business grows and the nursery grows and our landscape grows, that was a lot of work. And so we just have enjoyed the other side of the berm so much, is that we want to transfer that kind of template to this side, but use completely different shrubs that we can see, of course, from the house. So that is the plan. What we are going to do is to kind of give you an idea. So we have basically the quick fire fabs. I did put in some lantana this year that the butterflies are loving. So from here all the way down to the open area, down to the pink cascade to buddleia, that is where we're going to landscape. Now, for some of you, maybe let's just go ahead and talk about some of the obvious things. Our cherry trees. So we have 2 cherry trees right here. These are both, oh gosh, they're either the Yoshino or the Kwanzaa. I always get it mixed up. But cherry trees in the South, this is what they do this time of year. They're like, you know what? It's hot. I'm tired. I'm going to lose all my leaves and start to go dormant. So there is nothing wrong with the trees. There's not a bug. There's not a disease. There's nothing wrong with it. They're beginning their dormancy because it's too hot. So just to kind of give you that idea. We are going to leave. We're not touching the holy grails because, oh my gosh, are they gorgeous or what? There's 3 of them and they're huge and they're massive. We love the holy grails, and this is a great perennial hibiscus. Every year when they get that first freeze, they will die back completely. And they are completely herbaceous, and then once the heat hits come the springtime, they will come back bigger and better than ever. So these 3 guys are staying, and so we're going to have to kind of work around those, incorporate them into the landscape. The flower bed on this end is more narrow than it is on the right, because we have, dips and edges and how things move around. So while we're going to have some consistency, they're not going to be perfectly symmetrical through here. Now, I will say this, we have some certain shrubs that are going in here that are like hard fixes. They are most definitely going in no matter what. Then, of course, you know us, if you've been around gardening with Creekside for any length of time and how we do projects, then as we get into it, we kind of change our mind, or we adapt as the situation changes with the plants. So I know the shrubs that are most definitely going to go in here. So let's talk about those, all right? So, of course, we are in North Carolina. We are a Zone 8A. This berm, it is a cloudy day today. Praise the Lord. We're not going to sweat to death today. So it is cloudy, but other than that, this is a full sun bed, especially in this spot right here. There is no break in the morning. There is no break in the afternoon. It is all day hot, hot sun. This bed is on drip irrigation. So we will have the drip irrigation going in here and going to those shrubs. We run this irrigation in the heat of the summer about twice a week. We now have it on an automatic timer, so that has made a world of difference. About twice a week for maybe like 30 minutes at a time, 30 to 45 minutes at a time, just depends on the weather. And so that's a nice deep soak. I don't want to water these every day because I need those roots to get established. And so they really, that's all they need, right? We have, when we built the berm, we put in, because we had to raise it up. And yes, y'all, some people when we built it, they were like, that's not a berm. Well, there is a hump to it. So there you go. It is not this massive berm that's 20 feet tall. It doesn't have to be that tall, but it is a berm and it is raised. So it is a raised bed, where the fence going down is obviously the higher spot, and then it slopes this way on both sides. So it is very well draining soil. So plants that sometimes in the past, maybe they get too much water, they do really, really well here because it is well draining. And then of course we had to build that up. So we had the topsoil brought in, some really, really good topsoil, and then loads of organic matter, compost. We literally brought it in by the truckloads. And so this is great, great soil. And then we come through and we top dress with either like the Black Gold Ultra Outdoor Planting Mix. Once a year we did that on the other side and around the plants, and then mulching it once a year. Those are the keys to success for the flower beds. So what we're going to do is we are going to have the Perfecto Mundo white azalea. So I think it's the double white. We have loved the Perfecto Mundo series. It is a really great series of azaleas. They were actually developed by Dr. Tom Rainey at NC State. So I have some local North Carolina roots there, but the Perfecto Mundo double white is not going to be massive. It is a very nice, manageable size. Of course, your azaleas are going to be evergreen, and the Perfecto Mundo series that we love so much is a reblooming azalea. So it will bloom 3 times a year. You get a really heavy flush in the spring, which is iconic with the South, of course, right? And then in the summer, you'll get some sporadic blooms, and then we have found that the fall is another gorgeous, gorgeous display of flowers. So we're gonna have that white, that evergreen foliage with that beautiful pure white flower. How beautiful will they be in the fall when they're blooming against the Holy Grails? Now when they bloom in the spring, Holy Grail will not be here because it's too cool for Holy Grail to have fully, gotten nice and some size to it and be blooming. The Holy Grails and the other summerifics really do not start blooming for us until the very end of June, beginning of July. So the fall display is going to be the best with the Holy Grails and the azaleas. I want to say we have something like 20 something azaleas that we're going to put in here. The exact design to be determined, but they will go a little bit more towards the back up against the Holy Grails. And obviously we're going to spread them out through here. But again, the exact placement is to be determined. Next, we're going to have some hydrangeas because of course I have to have hydrangeas in this flower bed. So we have got 2 different hydrangeas that do really well. They are both panicle hydrangeas. Panicle hydrangeas love the sun. They have to have the sun to bloom. They bloom on new growth, meaning that you're going to prune them in like February. And so I like to do it between like middle to late February into early March. I prune them. And then they are guaranteed to have flowers every single year. So praise the Lord for that, that you get your gorgeous flowers every year. And so we love those panicle hydrangeas. I have a ton of panicle hydrangeas. So what we're going to use is a Firelight Tidbit. It is such a great, nice, petite hydrangea. I had to think there for a second. A nice petite hydrangea. Basically, it's going to be in that 2.5 to 3 foot tall. Of course, we have them. Brenda is, she's bound and determined to take my legs out. So it is going to be, has in the front of the house with the new porch renovation, and then we have them, of course, in the terrace garden. So we'll have some consistency there along with the double whites, because I didn't tell you that, is that we have those in a couple of places too, also in the front. So we're bringing consistency through the whole entire front of the house. So those Firelight Tidbits are fantastic. Gorgeous, nice big heads, take on a nice little pinky mauve color. Love them. So we have the Firelight Tidbits somewhere are going to go in here, and I want to say we have maybe 16, somewhere around that number of the tidbits that are going to go in. And then I love, I think this is so highly underrated, is the Tiny Quickfire. Tiny Quickfire, yes, is another panicle, and it is tiny. So it'll get to be about maybe 2 feet tall, 2 feet wide at max. So obviously with it being nice and petite, it's going to go up more towards the front. Again, we'll figure out the exact placement once we get in here. This is how Jerry and I roll. We know what the plants we're going to use, and then as we get in here, we will determine their exact location. So Tiny Quickfire is nice and stocky and short, and again will take on those nice pink hues to it. Here in North Carolina, we don't get the deep red coloration on our panicles that our friends in like Michigan, anywhere that it cools down a lot sooner and your nights are not blaming hot, you get that color. We don't really get that color here. So we've got those 2 hydrangeas, and then for a fun big pop of color, because I'm all about big pops of color, as is Jerry, we are going to be putting in the brand new Sunjoy Fast Neo. This is a barberry, and it is red. Now, barberries are deciduous, as are my hydrangeas. That's okay. I am perfectly fine embracing those deciduous shrubs in the wintertime. It makes me be at rest. The plants are at rest. It is okay. We'll have the azaleas in here to give us some structure. So there you go. So the Fast Neo is brand new on the market. It still has that great color of Neo that we love. So that really bright red, almost a little bit of orange tinge to it. But Fast Neo, as its name suggests, is going to grow fast and it gets bigger than Neo. So if you love Neo but you need a bigger size, then that's going to be your Fast Neo. I want to say, I don't have the specs in front of me, I want to say in that 3 to 4 tall, 4 to 5 wide, somewhere in that range. And so it's going to be a nice presence here. And so we will figure out exactly, I think I had 8 of those, so I grew those as quarts because we can't get them as 3 gallons yet. So I grabbed them from e-commerce and potted them up, and so they are growing currently up near the chicken coop. So we have got those. And then one more that I would really love to put in here. I haven't talked to Jerry about this, but I think we could absolutely do it. And I'm thinking it's going to go more kind of here. We're going to put one here, and then we'll kind of do a companion piece up here and do it over there so that the space is balanced. So what I am thinking is Mop Top Buddleia. Mop Top is another brand new shrub from Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. It is coming onto the market as we speak. Now, the great thing is, because you may notice, let's talk about this Pink Cascade right here. So Pink Cascade 2 is a gorgeous Buddleia, and the butterflies love her. Nice, soft pink. Like, look at this massive swallowtail here on that beautiful pink bloom. So while we love Pink Cascade 2, it is kind of a weeping habit to it, and it's just a fantastic. So you're like, well, why in the world would you put another Buddleia right beside of it? Well, Mop Top breaks everything that you basically know about a Buddleia and flips it upside down on top of your head. So Mop Top 1 is a beautiful cascading, even more cascading than Pink Cascade 2. So truly like down-turned leaves. Has much smaller leaves than your traditional Buddleia. Nice silver blue color. But what is so cool about Mop Top is, one, it is a spring bloomer. So early spring, it is going to be covered in these cascading lilac, light purple flowers that absolutely, they look like a string of pearls that are just coming down the plant. So you have got this beautiful display of pink colors. So it will be blooming before Pink Cascade is really even like truly flushing out for the season. Also, traditional Buddleias, they bloom on new growth. So we prune them really hard every February, early March. We really give a great pruning. There goes Brenna. A great pruning. But Mop Top, however, blooms on old growth. So we are not going to prune her. In fact, if you ever had to prune her, which you want to put her in a spot where you're not going to want to prune her, it would be like immediately after she flowers. Don't prune your Mop Tops in late winter. You're going to cut off all your flowers. So that's great, right? It's less work in the garden in that time of period where we're doing some pruning. Mop Top is going to be in that 4 to 5 foot range, so it's going to be a nice size to it. Very, very excited. I am growing again 3 of those. I started them as quarts, put them up into 2 gallons, so I'm growing those. So we're going to put 2 here, and then we'll put 1 over at the signature garden. So that is for sure the shrubs that I know that we're going to put over here. Now, what else can we put over here? I definitely want to put some perennial grasses. Not sure exactly which ones I want to do, but I love the movement of grass, and so I want to add those to this space. I do know, let's go over here. I'm going to give you a little, y'all, can we talk about this for a second? Pufferfish. Dear heavens. This thing loves this spot. Pufferfish is going bananas and is going absolutely crazy. So, yay for pufferfish over here. Another great panicle hydrangea. And then coming on over here. So the North Poles are doing fantastic. Of course, we have more of the Holy Grail and then the Winecraft Gold Smoke Bush. So when we're coming over here, you can see we've got some things, the Amsonias, that need to be taken care of. So we've got Pugster Pinker over here that is just going crazy with the swallowtails. I mean, they are going absolutely nuts over these plants, and so it's going to be really fun to see how these all develop. These are doing great. Obviously, we're not going to switch these out at all. These are going to stay right here. And then of course we have got, these are the Sunjoy orange pillar barberries. So to have the orange pillar here and then have the fast neo on the other side will bring some nice consistency to this space. But you can see how everybody is growing. I mean, y'all, crazy growth. I did have, this is what I was saying, is when we first planted the berm, we had some daisy maize right here. They have gotten completely smothered out by the little lime punch and the pugsters because they are doing fantastic. So we have got to go through here and kind of clean some things up, maybe spread some things out, especially with the perennials. But there is a ton of things going on, and so I'm really going to be a fun project. Of course, we are doing the front yard project right now. We're trying to get the drainage in. That's a major project. For us to plan and plant the other side of the berm, that may take us just a couple of days. And that's not that big of a deal because we have the plants here. We'll just place them where we want them and then either use the power planter augers, or we can use the Bobcat with the auger on that and get them in the ground. Because somebody was like, well, what about, you know, the berm project? Y'all are moving on to the front yard project. Oh, that's for us in our brain, that's an easy one because it's just planting plants. The front yard is a lot more complicated because there's drainage work, hardscape, and all of that other stuff. So that's the fun part of it. There is definitely work to be done in here. There's a lot of maintenance that needs to be done. But you know what? That's part of gardening, and that is the fun joy of it, is seeing how things grow, seeing what is successful, and then maybe things that are not so successful, then we kind of move those, tweak those, and move on from there. So we will keep you updated. And another reason, just as an FYI, because one of our kids was asking, they were like, well, if you have the plants, like why in the world haven't you planted them already in the berm? Well, it truly was because we got to a point in the season where it was really warm. So that was like the end of June. We were waiting for the signature experience to be over because we were busy doing everything else. And then you're talking about July and August. And I want these plants to have the best success that they possibly can, and so they are living their best life in the containers up at the shrub pad on the production lot, and so they're getting watered every day with the irrigation, so they're doing great. I like fall planting. Fall planting with my shrubs is the absolute best time to do it. Can you do it in the summer? Yes, you can, but you're gonna have to, it's gonna cause more stress on the plant, it causes more stress on the gardener to make sure that they maintain it. All of this was planted either in late fall or very early spring, and we have had massive success. So why mess with that recipe? So that's why we're going to plant this, and it will probably be, I would say, definitely once the front yard project is done. So we could literally plant this anywhere from late September all the way through October, even into early November. So we have plenty of time to get this done. And so that's the fun thing about it, is we get to dream, think, plan, and then when the time is right and the weather's right, we can strike and get them in the ground. So yeah, as always, there's another project going on here at Gardening with Creekside. So if you are in the area, you know, come see us on, and so you can walk through the gardens, walk through, see this area, you know, help a sister out. If you see a weed, pull a weed. I definitely would appreciate it. But as always, we'll take you along for the ride as we get this project done, some maintenance on here and all of the good things. Y'all have a great day. We would love it if you would like and subscribe if you already haven't. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.